Hey everybody, and welcome to the True Crime Squad. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Happy Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Nothing but watch trials and true crime all day. And now I'm going to do it all night.
It's just a true crime marathon for you today.
It is. Whew.
Yes. And first and foremost, it is the watch party tonight.
Yes, it is. Let me put up my little graphic here. We are watching the Menendez brothers documentary on Netflix. It is called The Menendez Brothers. There's two over there. Don't pick the one called Monsters, because yuck. We're watching this one.
Yep.
So it will be at 7:15 p.m. Mountain here. We will have the live chat, but you, of course, will watch it over on your own device. That is for all of our members of Buy Me a Coffee membership. I've already sent this information with the link out to you if you are said member. If you decide to go over there and join before this tonight, I'll send it again right before we start. So to do that, you go to truecrimesquad.com, just click on Buy Me a Coffee. It'll show you our little $2 a month membership. If you join that, then you get the link to go to this watch party. This is a 2-hour documentary. We don't normally do this long, but it's really an important one, and there's a lot going on with them right now, so we felt like it was really important to cover this right away.
Yeah. They're saying that you are very quiet.
Oh, okay.
Nope, you went the wrong way.
I went the wrong way?
Now, you're quieter now.
How's that?
Not good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? This is a brand new microphone.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to go back to my camera because we know we can hear me on my camera.
Okay.
I restarted my computer. I restarted this stupid microphone.
I'm afraid that mic is... Oh, there you go.
All that stuff. And that's better.
That's better. Yep.
Good Lord. Well, there you have it.
Okay. So that's what we'll do for the watch party. We're going to jump right into, there's a lot of breaking news happening in court right now. A lot.
So much.
It's just kind of mind-boggling every single day. And when there's been several things happen today that are going to make you go, the hell?
Yeah.
But probably not more than this right here. I'm going to play this little clip for you probably 2 or 3 times because it's pretty quick, but I want you to be able to, I want you to be able to really absorb this information.
I was born with the name Nicholas Alerian. They threatened to ruin my life, destroy my life, frequent threats to kill me. I was born with the name Nicholas Alerian. They threatened to ruin my life, destroy my life, frequent threats to kill me.
You want it one more time? One more time.
I was born with the name Nicholas Alerian. They threatened to ruin my life, destroy my life, frequent threats to kill me.
That's right. This motherfucker admitted in court today that he really is Nicholas Alerian. I mean, no shit, Nick. Everybody knew that. But,
yeah. Big surprise, dude. What are you going to be next? Gay? Come on. Everybody knows. No, he's not gay. It's just one of those things like, oh, shit, dumbass.
No. We know. We know.
We all know, Nick. We all know.
So how and why did this happen? Well, little Nicky Alerian really wants to make bail. And so they had a bond hearing today. And the thing is, for Nick, he's been called a flight risk for some weird reason.
I mean, what?
I know.
Faked
I guess
his own death? Went to another country?
Being an international fugitive might have made people think that. So apparently he and his attorneys thought maybe if he comes clean on who he is, that'll be enough to go ahead and, give him bond. So you guys listen. It's finally all clear. Now we know why he had to do what he did. So
Sure.
Let me explain to you why Nicholas, Rossi, Alerian, Arthur, Knight, King had to happen.
Shamalama ding dong.
You know, he had been an activist in Rhode Island for children in foster care. And he had really ingratiated himself with some of the Congress people. Well, and in fact, to the degree that he also had been in trouble with some of them for, scamming them out of money and things, because, he's a pro scammer. That's what he does. Well, according to Nick, they were threatening his life. There were 2 government officials that were threatening to kill him and threatening to kill his family and do all manner of terrible things. And so he had to change his name, fake his death. He was saving his life, y'all. He wasn't fleeing from charges or from the Fed. Why would he do such a thing? No. He was saving his own life.
And guys, this is the real actual truth now. This is the real truth. I know I was a big fat liar this whole fucking time, but now I'm telling the truth. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't running from all those criminal charges, you jackass.
Lies upon lies upon lies. So the prosecutor was like...
never ends.
Right. The prosecutor was dumbfounded. And he said, well, who would that be? And he said he couldn't answer because he wouldn't want to give cheese to the mouse.
Still speaking like a dumbass.
Mm-hmm. Though I don't think he called anyone "milady" today. But
he was doing the breathless speaking, but it wasn't in the English accent either.
Yeah, he's dropped the brogue. So now he kind of is, but he's real breathless and hoarse and weird. We'll play it one more time at the end, just because we gotta. But he couldn't answer it. He wouldn't answer it. So the judge actually cleared the courtroom for a minute to allow him to answer so that it wasn't public, because that wouldn't, be okay. Because, they're trying to kill him and all. Still, I guess, probably. Who knows?
Sure. Totally. No.
It was a brief hearing. It only lasted 15 minutes. As you can see, the quality was terrible. This is just coming straight from the court stream. Here's the thing, though, and I haven't had
a court stream of this.
It's really bad.
It's so bad.
I have not had time to research the date yet, but he will be going up for another bond hearing in the other county, likely in the next few days. So I'll find that and try to live stream the whole thing, because this same thing's just about to happen again in that county. So all I have for this one is what I could glean from a news site. So it's not a lot, but again, I will try and get the entire stream of the other one, because I think we'd all like to laugh until we pee our pants, don't we?
Oh,
don't you think so?
But please, play it again. We gotta see this again.
Play it again, Sam. We need to see this.
I was born with the name Nicholas Alerian. They threatened to ruin my life, destroy my life, frequent threats to kill me.
Ruin my life, destroy my life, frequent threats to kill me.
And yes, I will reprise my Nick, not Arthur song with this new information, and probably also with that audio. So
definitely.
Team Batman. That is pretty much what it sounds like. Oh my
pretty
God.
much does, yes. The prosecutor also said, wait a minute, though. If you were hiding from people that were trying to kill you, why did you go on national television? Because, he did that. You remember the interview where he couldn't stand up and fell back into his chair and all that shit? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he had no real answers for that. Yeah. Miranda, you need charges. You need charges, girl.
Yeah. Lydia says, someone get that crazy wife of his on the phone for a reaction, please. Miranda, thoughts? Right.
Miranda, send us an email. We'd love to talk. Yeah. Yes.
So freaking funny. Oh, my God.
Though he is still requesting that the courts call him Arthur Knight. Or Arthur Brown.
King.
Arthur King.
King. I know. He's had so many fucking names.
How many names does he have? Yeah.
Well, it's because he took King. That's Miranda's last name is King. So when they got married, he took her last name.
Okay.
So he wants to be Arthur King. But
Arthur King.
But he is not. actually.
He's not at all. No.
No.
Well, Nick, sucks to suck. So there you
Yes,
go.
it does.
Yep. This is absolutely bananas. But that's what we've got there. We have so much tonight. Whew. Let's go straight into
Little Bobby Tejas.
Yeah, do that one.
Little Bobby Tejas had his official sentencing today. So, as we know, the jury found him guilty, and they recommended that his sentence be 20 years to life with the possibility of parole. But that was a recommendation that the judge then had a little leeway on. She could add 1 to 8 years onto that sentence based on the enhancements of lying in wait, using a weapon, I think, violence against someone over the age of 60. Like, remember all those enhancements that happened when they found him guilty?
Yeah.
And he was found guilty of all of those enhancements. So she could add 1 to 8 years to a sentence. She added 8. She added everything that she could add. So he is now serving 28 years to life with the possibility of parole. So he will serve 28 years and then have the possibility of parole. But I feel at least a little bit better about that. I hope that Jeff Garriman's family does too. His sweet brother was in court again to speak on his behalf today, which was cool. I did put the sentencing up on the podcast and on YouTube so that you can go watch it. It's only like 12 minutes. It's not very long. He was in there being sentenced with several other men. It was like he did not get any little special Robbie Tejas stuff.
No.
He was in his jail garb. He was not wearing any lifts. You know, his head was not that shiny. Like, he definitely didn't get anything. Yeah, he said, it wasn't me and we'll never find the true killer. Right. Yeah, and he tried to say that he, at one point he said he was real sorry to the Garriman family for their loss and for whoever killed him, and, stupid ass stuff like that.
Lots of shaking his head and, typical little Bobby stuff.
Pathetic. But he's all done, guys. He's off. His attorney
Bye, Bobby.
Also applied to, leave his case, which I would imagine he's like, see ya, asshole. After the way that trial ended, I mean, can you imagine how glad he is to be done with this asshole? So now will get an appellate attorney and all that jazz that happens. But
after he had to live through all of the humiliation of watching that idiot on the stand.
Oh my God. It is an absolute masterclass in why you don't testify at your own murder trial. Ever.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
At least he didn't pull a Lori and say it was suicide. True.
He didn't. But hey, bye. See you later, Megamind. Enjoy prison, where they're probably going to kick your ass on a regular basis because you're such a jerk.
and such a big baby. Okay. Well, let's change gears. We have a missing person I wanted to put a little bit of light on.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to pull up his photo and poster here. So this is Zalig Williams.
Oh, yes.
He is a Broadway dancer. And on Thursday, October 3rd, he left home about 10 o'clock in the morning and from South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And a friend reached out and said that he had received a notification that Williams' phone had been in a crash. Well, they found his car in a parking lot, of the Palmetto Trail trailhead. And that's where they found his vehicle and his belongings, but no him. And they've had a hell of a manhunt out ever since for him. His poor, beautiful mama has been on the internet. She's been in news conferences and everywhere she can get her face shown to just beg for help to find her son. It is very, very confusing. People they're just sick. He was in Hamilton. He was in MJ the Musical and many other things. People called him Z. At any rate, Just wanted to put his picture up here so that everyone sees it. And anyone who lives in South Carolina, particularly, please know that he is missing and his family needs help.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Such a sad one, and it's so confusing. Yeah. Kristi said it's big news for locally. Good, good. I'm hoping they get everything. It sounds like police have taken it very seriously and are really looking and trying, and because unfortunately in missing persons cases that doesn't always happen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh, she said that national park is huge and had significant flooding after Hurricane Helene. Ugh.
Oh no. That is not good.
Yeah, Liam Payne. Thank you, Eternity. Liam Payne of One Direction
I saw that.
died from falling 3 stories from a hotel in Argentina. I know. I'm wondering too. Is it suspicious? Is it not? Was it an accident? Like, what the hell happened? So
yeah,
sad.
everywhere all I'm seeing is just that he fell, and it just barely happened. So
Yeah. Kathy knows Alik's car was not wrecked. Not wrecked. No incident. It's wild.
Yeah, that is.
Speaking of wild, Kristi, I guess the Great Pumpkin came early this year.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is hilarious. So some police officers in Ohio had a little trouble, little Halloween related trouble. I'm just going to show you the video and then we'll talk about it. We have to thank ABC News for the video and the soundtrack, which was really great. But apparently that blow up pumpkin apparently had escaped its moorings and was just laying around in the middle of the road. And I think it's now been taken into custody for assaulting multiple police officers.
It seems, yeah, and potential damage to property. Yeah.
Yes. The way it just rolled over that one cop at the beginning. So
He just completely ate him up. He was gone. He's inside of it now, somewhere.
Yeah, he's been eaten by the Great Pumpkin. Oh my gosh, so funny. And they had a hell of a time getting it off the road because it just kept wanting to roll back into place. And it was great. So
I'm here for it.
There was some real public service going on there. But yeah, I had to share the ABC News version, and we'll credit them, of course, for that because the music they put with it was so good and hilarious.
I'm here for it. It's great.
Yeah, yes it is.
Well, yesterday we had... actually, I'm going to go a different way. I don't have the article up I need. We'll talk about something else. I don't know if you guys remember, some of you will, that a while ago we discussed a case where a sweet little pregnant mama answered a Facebook ad, someone in a mom's group in her area, saying that she had some baby clothes. And she answered that, and they made a plan to meet. And this evil psycho woman took her to her home where she murdered her in an attempt to steal her baby. She was very pregnant at the time. Yes. The baby also died. and she burned them both in a fire pit, or at least tried to, and it's a really horrific case. Well, that has finally made it to court, and Amber Waterman has been sentenced. She was convicted and has now been sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences in federal prison without possibility of parole in the deaths of Ashley Bush and her unborn baby, Valkyrie Willis. So she actually pled guilty. She pled guilty in July to 1 count of kidnapping resulting in death and 1 count of thereby causing the death of a child in utero in connection to the kidnapping. Yeah.
That's hideous. I mean, you have to put someone like that away forever.
Yeah.
What else are we going to do?
Yeah.
She is such a danger.
She is the absolute worst. So, she's never getting out. Never, never, never. But lots and lots of love to the victim's family. I can't even imagine what this has all been like for them. It's just so shocking.
It is. To be the family that lost that mother and baby, that is so gut-wrenching. My God.
Yeah.
But also to be the murderer's family. To think that someone in your family could do something that heinous.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, she's
terrible.
not the last one out there. I know that murder of pregnant women is a scary reality that we face here in the U.S. and in other countries as well.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So with that, talk to us about what happened in Leilani Simon today in her trial.
Okay. Well, things of note. The medical examiner did come in and talk about the autopsy of Quentin. Sadly, the autopsy of Quentin tells them absolutely nothing. They don't know how Quentin died. And although there's lots of damage to his bones, all the medical examiner can say is that that damage was all post-mortem, likely from being, in a landfill. And I mean, they don't have anything.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about this case. And the more, they had the case agent on the stand yesterday and today, and they've played so many interrogation videos in which Simon lies her ass off, but she never admits to her harming her son. And after a while, it starts to feel a whole lot like overreach on the part of the police, I have to admit. And to me, those interrogations, and I mean, Leilani Simon is a very unstable young woman, and she screams and cries and talks 100 miles an hour, and then settles down and is a little bit rational, and then, says, this is absolutely the truth and I will never change from it, and then tells a different story. And I mean, it goes on and on and on like that. But they still don't have any actual proof. Nothing.
No.
That she did anything.
No.
To Quentin.
No. I mean, her behavior, the dickish ways she acted while he was missing, there's a lot of things she did that are really super concerning. But yeah, the physical evidence is not there.
It is not there. And so then the last testimony today was Daniel Youngkin. And Daniel Youngkin was her boyfriend at the time and is the father of her daughter Sky, who is younger than Quentin.
Yeah.
And honestly, Daniel Youngkin broke my heart. He cried a lot.
Aww.
He talked about how difficult Leilani was. He talked about how she refused to get up in the morning. And they worked at the same place and worked the same shift at like 6:30 in the morning. And he talked about getting up and feeding and taking care of these little children. She had Zane and then Quentin and then Sky. And they were all little. And driving them to daycare and then coming back and picking her up to go to work. And her sometimes screaming at him that she was not going to work. And then he would go to work. This was their life was really miserable. And he cried and cried. And he talked about the morning that Quentin went missing or that when was reported missing. And he cried and he said, because the prosecutor asked him, he said, before you left for work that morning, Leilani had said she was not going to work. And so he was leaving, and the prosecutor said, did you check the pack and play where Quentin was sleeping? And he said, no, I didn't. And then he cried, and he cried, and he cried. And he said, I just wish I had checked. So he doesn't know what happened to Quentin. He talked about, that she did get up in the night and leave for a while and all of the stuff that happened that night. But she left the house, and he did not know where she went. And he did not know exactly what she did. He didn't actually know the story about her going to get the Oragel, which was a totally fucking lie. Anyway, he did say that there was some Oragel in their bathroom cabinet, and that he didn't know why she went to get some, because he knew they had some. He has tried very hard to help the police. Now, don't think that Daniel is without problems, because he was a heavy alcoholic at the time. And he did a great deal of drinking, and he talked about drinking while driving with the children, and he's talked about how this has straightened him up a lot, because now he has his baby daughter to think about. But he agreed. So what happened is, when Quentin went missing, and the police put them up in a hotel room, and he signed an agreement for them to actually put cameras in the hotel room. And so he knew that the police were recording everything that they were saying in that hotel room. Wow. He also agreed to have his phone bugged for months for every conversation that he had with Leilani. And they showed some of the videos today. My God, she's mean and hateful to him. Their relationship was terrible. Yeah. And he said that the reason that he stayed was for his daughter, Sky. She was an infant at the time. And I just really felt bad for him, because he is heartbroken over Quentin's death. And he's heartbroken that he didn't know, and that he didn't do anything about it, and that he didn't check on him before he left that morning. You can see that he feels responsible. And you could see from what he said today that he felt responsible for all of the children, that somebody had to be responsible and feed those kids and dress them and get them ready for wherever they were going, and then put them to bed at night and take care of them. And it was real sad. But what they showed in videos was Leilani freaking out at him and screaming at him and yelling at him for asking questions about the Oragel and why she went to do that, and is that where she really went and stuff. And at one point she screams at him and says, the one person I thought would really be on my side, and you're siding with the FBI. I mean, she says a lot of crazy shit, but she never admitted anything.
Boy.
So I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know where this is going to go. I thought, well, maybe the medical examiner's got something. Nope. Maybe all of that surveillance has got something. No.
Nothing.
Then the prosecutor finished with him today. And he'll be cross-examined tomorrow, but they presented everything they had from him. And he talked about, getting the phone call from Leilani that Quentin is missing, and he said he ran out the door from his work without even his jacket. And somebody yelled at him for running through security like that, and he explained really fast and got in the car to go home to try to look for him. And you could see that he was the person that cared about those kids and that took care of those kids. And Leilani just sat there stone-faced through this entire testimony.
Oh, gosh.
Where are the two living children now? I am not totally sure where Zane is, if Zane is with his father or not. I'm not sure. But I think that Daniel Youngkin has his daughter, Sky. It was really sad.
Wow. That is terrible.
This, and then to hear her, the way she screamed and yelled at him and stuff in the surveillance video, it was like, oh my God, like,
She's awful.
She is awful.
Hmm.
But is this reasonable? Is this beyond a reasonable doubt? I have not seen anything that would convince me that she actually killed Quentin and that she actually put him in a dumpster that ended up in a landfill. I have not seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, JR, I honestly think that she did do it. My theory of the case is that she did do it.
Right.
However,
it's just
the police have
frightening
not
lack of
actually
evidence. Yeah.
been able to prove that. She drove around that night. She lied her ass off. She did a bunch of stuff that night out and about when no one else from that household was out and about.
Right.
And so she really is the only person who could have killed Quentin and gotten rid of his body.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. If
his
she got that angry at Quentin. Yeah.
Right. Yes, and his decomposition did save her. The decomposition and then just the destruction to his little body being in that landfill, there is just nothing forensically. So, I don't know. I mean, I still think that she did it, but are they going to be able to prove that to this jury beyond a reasonable doubt? I have not seen anything that tells me they are.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yikes.
I'm kind of surprised they're taking this to trial, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm sure they've tried to get a plea out of her, but she's about as difficult as Sarah Boone.
Oh, she is incredibly difficult. She is a very ill person.
Yeah.
She has got major problems.
Yeah.
And somebody the other night we were talking here on the show about that she probably has fetal alcohol syndrome. I would say that she probably does.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, she is so erratic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't know. But Daniel Youngkin really broke my heart because you could see that he loved Quentin and he felt awful that this happened on his watch. It has cleaned him up.
Mm-hmm.
He's not drinking anymore and he's doing a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
If she walks, will she have custody of her other kids? Well, he'll definitely fight her for everything for Sky. And I don't know what the situation is with Zane.
But she could have more. She is young. And she'd already had 3 and was only 23.
Yes.
So, right. Hopefully
Well,
they can.
Won't. They won't put her in a mental institution because she is not using a mental health defense.
Well, that's true. Whew. This is a tough one. It is.
It's a really tough one because I don't doubt her guilt. I just don't. The case just is really not there. It's all really, really circumstantial. And maybe it'll be enough.
Yeah.
It might be. I don't know. It depends on what this jury's getting out of all this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Well, speaking of courts, let's talk about the Menendez brothers for just a minute.
Yeah.
So the Menendez brothers, as you know, there has been a real push to the prosecution to look over the evidence and some new evidence from their case and consider a resentencing. Because basically, the things that have come forward, one of which is a letter that one of the boys wrote a cousin months before these murders happened, talking about how he didn't know how he could continue to survive in this household, that he had no idea when his dad might walk into his bedroom and the abuse would start up again, and some things of that nature that is new evidence. There's also just the fact that, the question that, did the judge err in not allowing all of the evidence of the abuse, particularly the sex abuse, to be seen in the second trial? They got a hung jury when they presented that evidence, and then in the second trial, when they weren't allowed to present that evidence, they were able to just paint these boys as these selfish little shits that just wanted mom and dad's money to run and play with it. And that's what the world knew of these boys for a long time. And they did get their conviction. So there are those things. There's some other things as well. So the prosecution had a press conference recently saying, we're aware of this. We're looking at these things. I mean, these two have been in prison now for 30 years or 35 years. Yeah. And so the family all joined together, more than 24 members of their family on both mom's side and dad's side joined together in a press conference today. That's right. The Menudo singer said that Jose raped him as well when he was a teenager. Yeah.
Yes.
So more than 24 family members flew to California today and made some pleas for their release from prison. Really trying to, strike while the iron's hot, continue to get the ball rolling here, and get a potential relook. So a judge has given the prosecution a certain amount of time to present something to them, what their opinion is on all of this. So this is part of what happened. Ana Maria Baralt, she's a niece of Jose Menendez. She told reporters if Lyle and Eric's case were heard today, with the understanding we now have about abuse and PTSD, there is no doubt in my mind that their sentencing would have been very different. And then a statement from Terry Baralt, who's Jose Menendez's sister. I implore the district attorney's office to end our prolonged suffering and release Lyle and Eric back to our family. 35 years is such a long time. My prayer is that I live long enough to see my nephews again and hug them once more. And it went on and on and on and on. But basically the family is saying it is time to take another look at this, to really consider. The one aunt said at the time the world wasn't ready to admit that these boys had been being raped by their father. But we're ready to do that now, and it's time to take another look at their sentencing and make a new decision. So we'll see if it does any good, if it helps. Rosie O'Donnell was there. Rosie is also a survivor of SA, and she was contacted by one of their wives. Both of the men are married, and she was contacted by one of their wives because she's been a loud advocate for survivors of SA, and she has been helping them ever since. And so she was there as well to speak on their behalf and show support. So we'll see where it goes from here. So on that note, we're going to watch that documentary tonight that will hopefully give us a bigger, better peek into this case. But I think that's very interesting, and I suspect that by the end of the year we could see something happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that we could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, who said? JR said Gypsy Rose is out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not exactly the same, but similar. And she only served 10 years, or not even 10, 8 years. And these guys have served 35 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
It's time.
It is, I agree.
They have done their time. No one is arguing that they killed their parents. They're not arguing that they killed their parents. But the circumstances by which their lives went down weren't considered, and they should have been. Hands
We're
down.
not allowed to use that abuse
Yeah.
about, for mitigation, and that's just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, entirely. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that one. Karen Reed.
So, Karen Reed, man, she's getting some friends in high places. The ACLU has filed an amicus brief with the court in Massachusetts, backing Karen Reed in her appeal to the state Supreme Court to protect her from being retried on acquittal charges, because they're saying that would be violating her right to double jeopardy. So, you know how it went with Karen Reed. The jury hung. It all went really weird. It turns out that the jurors have come back and said we actually acquitted her on 2 counts, 2 of the 3 charges, and the judge handled this so poorly. It didn't clarify anything with them in court, didn't poll the jurors, didn't clarify on each count what they had voted for. We know that it's bullshit. And so now they're trying to retry her, and they want to retry her on those counts that the jurors are coming back and saying, whoa, we acquitted her on those 2 counts, and they're the 2 biggest charges.
Yeah.
And so now the ACLU has joined the fight, and that is very good news for Karen Reed.
Yeah.
The ACLU gets involved when people's constitutional rights have been violated, and it's very clear that
Yeah.
her rights were violated, and the way that was all handled was terrible, and that really the only remedy there is to not charge her again on those 2 charges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it's really good news.
Yep.
So we shall see what happens. But Karen Reed is another one that I think that case against her was bullshit.
It was, and the judge made a lot of errors. I'm still
This
slayed.
is a really serious error.
Oh, yeah. I'm still slayed by making an error in the juror form and saying, I'm sorry, but I was really tired.
Yeah.
Dude,
No,
if
she
you're
was
not
really
able
weird
to do
through that
your
whole
job,
thing.
people's lives are on the line. Like, this is not okay. Yeah.
Right. Well, yes, and Grand, that police force, now there's
Holy. Yeah, Sandra.
investigation into the main detective, and
Yeah.
there's so much going on, and they're so committed to trying her again, really to save face. And I think that the Massachusetts Supreme Court is going to see this differently, and the ACLU getting involved is good news.
Yeah, it is. It is. The prosecution should have just slithered away and never recharged her after
right.
all of this mess. Yep.
They are shameless at this point, really.
They really are. Well, speaking of shameless, shall we talk about Sarah Boone?
Let's do.
God. All right. So Sarah was back in court today. There was a motions hearing. The state was asking the defense not be able to use battered spouse in opening statements or even later in the trial unless new evidence comes in. The state says they can't use battered spouse because there was no overt act. While the defense says, wait a minute. Yes, there was. What was the overt act? It was Jorge's hand coming up out of the suitcase. When Sarah grabbed a baseball bat and beat his hand back into the suitcase, that was the overt act. She knew.
So who was the aggressor in that moment? Let me think.
She just knew that if he got out of that suitcase, he was gonna kill her. So she had to beat him with the bat and push him back into the. Yep.
Beating the crap out of his 2 fingers. Yeah, that was a real risk to her when she was the one with the baseball bat. And also the ability to just leave the fucking house.
Right, yeah. There was also, this is just an aside in my opinion, but there were contusions on his body. I am really thinking she probably did more than just hit his fingers with the bat. I'm guessing she beat the crap out of him with the bat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll hear more about that, I'm sure, when they
But to
come
think
forward.
that him sticking his fingers out is an overt act is the most bullshit. It's such an offense to actual real victims of domestic violence who actually really deserve to be able to use the battered spouse defense in a murder trial like this. It pisses me off to no end.
Yep. So here's how it went down. The judge said that he will accept and deny part of this request. So he won't prevent the defense from using it altogether. He's going to exclude battered spouse testimony until evidence comes in that he could review and potentially uphold. So we're not done with this conversation. He did say the defense can invoke battered spouse in their opening statements, however.
The opening statements are not evidence.
No. He also ruled in favor of the defense to redact some portions of the police interview, citing that it's prejudicial.
Oh.
And then they went back to jury selection. They learned today that one of the jurors that was there yesterday has COVID. So this is just the beginning of a lot of fun with this jury, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're supposed to finish up tomorrow and opening statements Friday morning.
We'll see.
So long as that happens, we will start streaming Sarah's trial Friday morning.
Yes, we will.
Yep.
That just, oh my God, the gall of those attorneys to consider an overt act, him trying to get his hand out of the suitcase she zipped him up in and won't let him out of.
And
That
it,
just makes me sick, man.
yeah, and beats him with a baseball bat. What is the jury really going to think of that?
Right. But that's interesting that they cannot bring battered spouse in as a defense unless they can bring evidence in. So they're going to try.
To bring testimony
cannot
that supports
imagine
that. Yeah.
that the judge is going to allow this. Yeah.
We'll do a live reaction. Yeah, we'll be with it. We'll speak. We'll come on camera in between, breaks, things like that, and then we'll do a nightly wrap up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, Paula, he was breathing and that scared her.
Right. Yeah. Lydia said, considering canceling everything on Friday to watch the trial live, but I need to see her flail.
I know it's going to be wild because how much you want to bet she's trying to? One of the big fights she's having with those attorneys that she wants to testify.
Oh,
She's
I'll bet.
definitely a Robert Tellis in that department.
One of the reporters in the room today said that she had a long and seemingly deep conversation with one of her attorneys over a bottle of water.
Oh, good Lord.
It's Sarah
Yes, there
Boone.
are cameras in the court.
Yep, the original pick-me girl. Holy moly.
Oh, my God, right?
But she is strutting her stuff in her street clothes, though, man.
She is.
You can see how
To think she
happy
turned
she is
down
to be in
15
them.
years is unreal to me.
Yeah. I did not hear, there was no official ruling on the snacks, but people in the courtroom today said she was snacking, so I'm going to say probably yes. Yeah. She needed to
They're not
snack
gonna
in
deny
court
her food.
to keep her energy up, y'all. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Can we tolerate that voice for that long? Oh, I don't know.
It's hard to
5
say.
minutes? I don't know. Leilani Simon was eating something in court today, and a couple of times she looked at the camera and sort of covered her mouth, like maybe she had something she wasn't supposed to have.
Oh.
She looked a little like, I think her attorney was slipping or something.
Oh, maybe. I was thinking about all the candy that was passed around during the Johnny Depp not trial, but the Johnny Depp hearings.
Yes. That was hilarious. The constant passing of things.
Yeah. Oh, she ate yesterday too. Yeah, I'm guessing frankly, I don't know why she has to have all this commissary stuff, and so specifically, like 5 peppermints and 2 bags of chips, and why aren't her... maybe her attorneys can't. I guess we decided maybe they can't. But anyway, who knows? So, right, she's the epitome of I want to speak to your manager energy. Oh, yeah. Well, the notes from her jail notes are just full of instances just like that.
It's unreal.
They're going to be so damn glad to see her leave. But can you imagine how unpopular she must be amongst her jailmates?
Oh, horribly.
God, I bet they hate
Well,
her.
and she's a racist little shit. She said some terrible things, referring to certain ethnicities, and like she's awful.
Yep.
She's going to be real fun in prison.
No.
Yeah, extreme Karen, absolutely.
Hopefully she ends up in the same prison as Donna Adelson.
They would become BFFs.
Maybe. Yeah. I know that's just a pipe dream, but yeah.
Yeah. Maxwell energy just pour. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. In other unbelievably bloodthirsty and ridiculous news, talk to us about Thomas Creech.
Oh, God. Okay, so Thomas Creech is the Idaho man on death row that Idaho tried to kill earlier this year. And they could not get a vein. They tried to use lethal injection with him. Could not get a vein, had to fail the lethal injection. So, guess what, guys? They have remodeled the lethal injection room so that they can be sure to kill Thomas Creech this time. And
Correctly.
they have issued another death warrant for Thomas Creech for November 13th. So what they were not prepared to do last time was to use a central line. They were trying to get a vein. And they now have set up a staging room prior to the execution room where they can put in a central line. Yeah, it is brutal. It's disgusting. It makes me really, really sick. So there's a room that's basically out of the purview of the public, in which they will place a central line, and then they will bring him in to the execution room and administer the lethal injection drugs. So, yeah. A central line can be a line that, like, is in your neck, or it's a vein that can go right directly into your heart. Like, it's a little bit more of a procedure. It's much more painful. It's kind of a big deal. And, yeah, isn't that verging on cruel and unusual? Apparently, the Idaho death penalty law allows for central lines, but they were not prepared to give him a central line the last time they tried to execute him.
Yeah.
So
And
now,
remember, he's quite elderly and in really poor health.
He is.
And
he particularly has very bad veins. He's been in medical treatment for vein problems leading up to this. I don't know. You know, there's been a lot of talk about, are they going to try to hurry up and build something so that they can use firing squad? The Department of Corrections in Idaho has said no, that they still want to use lethal injection as their primary means of death warrants, death penalty, whatever. So now they're going to do the central line, and that's coming up on November 13th, and they're confident that it will be successful this time.
Oh, I'm just sure it will. Yeah.
It's gross. It makes me sick. This is wrong.
This is ridiculous.
All of it's
Absolutely crazy. Yep. They do
Thank
have
you.
the right
Execution.
meds, they say. Yeah.
Yeah, they say they have the medication. That's not the problem. It's that they didn't have the capacity to give him a central line. And now they do, and that will be administered in a room outside the purview of the public.
Which is also concerning. It's all concerning.
All of it.
It's so bloodthirsty. Like that they're just desperately seeking a way. Thomas Creech has been on death row longer than I've been alive. And suddenly they are so desperate to put the man to death that they are just grasping at every straws. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The hidden room is fishy. I agree. This is all supposed to be very public, so it can be ensured to be not cruel and unusual punishment. And now we're not going to see that part.
Yep. It's so ick. Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, a little bit in Delphi. Kind of. It kind of makes it look like the defense had a win today. They didn't. But let's talk about it. So here's the ruling. This court, having had defendant's motion to incorporate evidence presented at the August 1st pretrial hearing into offer of proof at trial, now grants the motion without hearing. Defendant is authorized to incorporate evidence admitted at the August 1st, 2024 hearing on the state's motion in limine regarding alleged third-party suspects and alleged connections to the Norse pagan religion and the Odin religion as a part of proof regarding the issue at trial for purposes of judicial economy. Okay. So people are celebrating. They're like, oh, they can finally bring in third party. No, they can't. That's not giving them the opportunity to bring in a third party defense or supposition. Basically, what it is it's just a time-saving ruling. So this is basically just creating a record. They still can't bring any third-party stuff in. So it doesn't mean a lot. Basically, it means that it becomes a part of the record, but the jury won't hear any of it. Yeah.
ridiculous, pointless.
And so basically, she's letting them put this on the record, though the jury won't be able to hear any of it, so that, for appeal purposes, so that they won't have to take up a half a day while the jury just sits in the deliberation room waiting for them to fight this out. So they're just doing it now. So it's not really helpful. I mean, it is for the appeal. And basically, if she didn't at least allow that, they'd be headed right back to the Supreme Court again over this case. So it's not a huge win. It's basically just her covering her ass and them at least being able to put this on the record. Yeah, make life easier. It's a time saver for her. So that's really all it is. Yeah.
So Thomas Creech, we're not talking about Thomas Creech as though he is innocent. He is not.
No, not at all.
He is a serial killer. He murdered multiple people. He murdered an inmate in prison. The point of this is that he has been on death row for nearly 50 years. And he's an old man. And now Idaho's just got to kill him now.
Desperate to kill him. Yeah.
And what is the point of that? Why? It's just gross, and they tried once and it failed, and so now they're going to try again. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
The state tried to murder him once and they couldn't kill him, so now they found a new way.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting and bloodthirsty. And if it was so important to Idaho to execute Thomas Creech, why has it taken 50 years for that to happen?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. California wanted to get a hold of him because they are trying to try him for a couple of murders that they think he committed in California.
Yeah.
These murders are very old, early 70s. Like, this has been around a long time. But...
And Idaho's like, nay, we're going to kill him instead.
Yeah. And it's just like, why now?
Yeah.
And he has become a much better person in prison. And this is the other thing that's been talked about, is how traumatizing this is for the the prison staff. He's been there forever. And he has become a real mentor for other men. And, I'm not saying that, I don't want to discount what he did in any way. He's not the same guy that he was back then. And so it feels like they're killing a completely different person because they've given him all of this time to grow and evolve.
And traumatizing the whole prison over it.
Yeah.
And
there are a
what
lot
end?
of prison staff who have made statements that who wanted him to get clemency and spoke on his behalf for clemency because he's just not the guy that he was back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blech. And one tiny thing in Alec Murdaugh. It's not tiny, but his boat insurance provider, Progressive, is settling for policy limits of $500K in the death of Mallory Beach. So Mallory Beach's family is finally going to receive a $500,000 settlement in her death.
Wow.
So good. It's crazy that has never been settled after all these years, but at least her family gets that. Yeah.
And JR, you're probably right. If Idaho can stick it to California, they will always.
Oh, yeah.
And so is this, trying to stick it to California by not letting them try Thomas Creech? Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't consider that to be unreasonable, honestly. Some people are saying, is this a political move here in the state? Maybe, kind of.
It's showboating.
There are some real, death penalty advocates here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in some way, I think that the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yep. Well, we better go because we'll be back here in just 13 minutes for the watch party. So,
yes.
One more time.
Here we go. Oh,
we both put it up at the same time.
So it is the Menendez brothers, the documentary called The Menendez Brothers on Netflix. So if you are a subscriber over on our Buy Me a Coffee, we'll be doing that tonight. This is a 2-hour show. I'm going to send the link out one more time right before it starts in case if you go to truecrimesquad.com, click on Buy Me a Coffee. It will take you right to where you can join if you want to do that, if you haven't already, and you will get access to the link. I've already sent it out to everybody that was already a member. It's in your email, also in our feed on Buy Me a Coffee. But I'll go send it out one more time just to make sure everybody gets it. And we'll be doing our live chat as we usually do. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. Really interesting to see that case at the forefront right now. So, yeah. Yeah, and then we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. for our regular live. And then, barring something crazy happening, we'll be back to start streaming Sarah Boone on Friday morning.
Yes, we will.
So that's what's up. All right. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys. We will see you over there, or if not, we'll see you tomorrow. So thanks for being here. This has been yet another production of the True Crime Squad.
Bye, everybody.